Hey everybody, it is the Honey Badger here, and today we're doing more work on the GX470. Specifically, we're doing pod lights up at the top corners of the hood. Helpful while off-roading, get you that extra light when it is dark. But to start, we need to put the brackets in first. We'll put these in, then we'll do the pod lights themselves. Anything I am using in this video is down below in the description in case you want to follow along. And yeah, other than that, let's just jump into it and let's start getting these put in the vehicle. So to start things off, we're going to use a 12mm wrench to remove one of the hood bolts one at a time. We'll do it this way so we don't have to take them both off and struggle with putting the hood back on. So we'll get one out and then we'll get the first part of the bracket lined up and we'll get that screw put back into place. That way, nothing's really out of the way. Next, we'll loosen the bottom bolt and then we will line up the bracket as we need it. Sometimes it does help to push back up vertically on the actual hood to line up your bolt because it is going to shift your hood just a tiny bit because of the weight of it. Once that's lined up though, we're going to tighten these bolts back down and we should have our bracket in place. The brackets do have adjustment to them as well, so you can slide them forward or backward if you need to adjust that closer to the hood or further away. Kind of depends on your clearance when the hood's also up. So you do have some adjustment as well. Now that we have the actual bracket in place, we can get the second part of the headlights installed. This is pretty simple. We're just gonna bolt it up. We'll make sure we use the included washers. Luckily, the top part of the bracket holds the bolt in place because there's notches for it to not spin. So we'll just tighten it from the bottom and we'll get it adjusted roughly at the angle we want, but we'll leave a little adjustability and play in with it. Next, we'll get the light up and we will line it up with how we want. Luckily, there's two spots where you can mount this, either a high position or a low position. We're gonna mount it in the low position for now. We'll get the hardware and just tighten this up. And now we're gonna have our lights roughly mocked up where we want them to be. The next big thing we move on to is going to be the wiring. With the hood pop, we're gonna get the wires just roughly routed just down. We're not gonna really get any of it put away yet, but we're gonna get them all plugged in. This way we know where our wires, roughly need to fall, and then we're gonna do cable management to make sure we have everything where we need it. So like I said, everything's plugged in but loose. We're gonna attach the positive terminal to the battery for this so it gets power. We're just gonna do it off the top post where we have additional power coming off the battery, and then we'll tighten that back down. And then we're gonna run the ground over to the ground wire that's actually off the battery and actually on the side of the chassis or fender of the vehicle. That way we can ground out to the vehicle like the rest of the car does for this connector. We'll attach it and we'll tighten it up. Now with everything wired to the lights and in the front hood of the vehicle, we need to find a place to mount the little box. There's a little post here that we're actually just gonna put a couple zip ties on to hold it in place for now. We might find a different location for it in the future, but it will most likely be on this side of the vehicle because of how it needs to plug into the battery. And next, we are gonna run all of our extra wire and tuck it away as needed so we don't have a big mess. There's a nice little part we can tuck this long one in from the passenger side across the back of the vehicle. And then that way we can get it mostly out of the way. With all of the extra cable that we have, we will zip tie it down to some existing looms running across the top of the vehicle, and then the whole leftover bundle, we're gonna just wrap and kind of get neat, and then we'll zip tie it together, and then we'll zip tie it in place inside the hood as well. Now we need to do the next part to get the button into the cabin. There's one section where the button runs off of this loom, of this harness. We're gonna slip in one side of the connector through the firewall, and you'll see inside the vehicle where we just loosen that gasket, we'll be able to pull it up from underneath the driver's side, so we'll just get that through. The other side of this button you can disconnect and plug back in if you're using the kit that I am, which is in the description. And then there is a blank button that does not come in the GX470. That's for, I believe, Land Cruisers with a rear locking diff. We're actually just gonna widen it with a drill bit slowly just to make sure we can get our button nice and flush. So once we got that to about the right size, it's just gonna slide into place and click, and it's almost gonna look like that thing belonged in it. So we will be able to connect our button easily that way in the vehicle, and it's gonna look pretty professional if you ask me. So we'll get that put back in place once we have that plugged in. And there we go, we got our button installed and it has power from the loom. Everything's done, we just tucked up the wires underneath the dash and we're finished. They are installed. I like the way they look. I don't think they're like super flashy, but I do like the way that they look, and they are incredibly bright, I can confirm. You may also notice there's a completely different grill on the vehicle now. That's coming up here soon in a different video, so make sure you are subscribed. Also, links to the products that I used in this video are down below in the description, so make sure you check those out as well. I'll be showing you what these look like in a different video as well when we're doing some off-roading stuff and some better trials, but they are incredibly bright. So no big surprise there, but we're all wrapped up on this project. We're gonna have some more stuff coming up soon too, because you might notice also that half the vehicle is wrapped from the angle we're filming at right now, but the front bumper isn't. Again, more of this coming up. Make sure you're subscribed. But other than that, I'll see all of you guys in the next video.